Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your agent of animated awesome. Not quite as awesome as yesterday, but we're working on it. Today we are going to be talking about the 1960/61 movie Alakazam the Great. 61 for here in the States, 1960 for Japan. It's known as Saiyūki or Son Goku. Well, Saiyūki is Journey to the West, which is based on the 16th century Chinese novel Journey to the West. The Shaw Brothers have made a series of movies about them, and there's been a lot of movies about the Monkey King. So if you want to find out that, go ahead and Google it because I don't have the time to list all of them. Damon Foster did an excellent episode of his old fanzine Oriental Cinema, which had a huge influence on Zenorama, the Journal of Heroes and Monsters, of which I am the editor and publisher. I am X7, the host of Zenorama, the podcast of Heroes and Monsters, as well as the co-host of GD Explanations. There's a new nerd off up there, so go check it out. See who's the bigger nerd. Because we do, and as the Lilith proves, the nerd wants whiskey. All right, let's get right into this. But before we do, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and if you want to, get notified of new content daily, just hit that subscription bell. All right, let's roll. All right, we do not start out with the wild, wild world of animals. I think it's just the wild world of animals. But we do start out with that wonderful logo, meaning that you're in for some sort of treat. Generally speaking, if you know what you're looking for, of course. I mean, AIP did do a bunch of biker movies and things like that, which totally not my bag, baby. But for this movie is. It was a staple on probably channel 2, maybe channel 4, here in old Fossil Bed growing up in the 70s, at least 2 or 3 times. Same as about same as Pinocchio in Outer Space. It's just a very enjoyable movie. And back then we didn't know everything that went on behind the scenes because you just couldn't find that out unless you were in the industry. It wasn't until that moronic book showed up, but we'll mention that briefly later on. And Alakazam the Great, again adapted from, say, the 1960 Japanese anime musical, cartoon movie, Saiyūki. There's our voices for the credited voices. Frankie and Dodie only provided singing voices, and Jonathan, of course, and the rest of them were, Jonathan Winters and Arnold Stang. You'll hear that the voices if you hear them. Sterling Holloway, of course, the original voice of Winnie the Pooh. And but the rest of it was dubbed by the Tetra crew, including such stalwarts as Peter Fernandez, Corinne Orr, Larry Robinson, Jack Curtis, Billy Lou Watt, Bernard Grant, and Joyce Gordon. So we know them. We've listened to them our whole lives, anyone of a certain vintage. So we get introduced by Majutsu Land, which of course is, let me see. Oh man, they cut out they did change it around smartly because I don't know how well this movie would have done in 1961. It didn't do very well in the States as it is, but leaving it as and it's very Japanese, so they changed quite a bit of it. It's Majutsu Land in the dub, and that's what we're going to be going on. So that's Lady Queen Amas there, and there's just one of her advisors, I guess, 2 of her advisors, and the new king of the beasts, which is odd that it's going to be a monkey. And you know me, rarely do I like monkeys, and even the greater apes. I like King Kong, but I do like I do like this movie, probably because I've seen it several times. And I know that Goku is, part of the Son Goku is part of that cartoon series Dragon Ball. Yes, that's it. But he was predates that. And if you're wondering, Superman is better and more powerful. So they just go on. They have a contest. You have to jump off a waterfall and go to Majutsu Land and prove that you were there, or some such nonsense. But there he is, and the two guys that are watching are like, that little creature, and he's afraid of spiders. And there's Didi, who is Rin Rin in the Japanese language, but she's just laughing at him, and that's Corrine, also the voice of Marine Boy and Trixie, and just take your pick. But they fall in love, and look at these gorgeous paintings. Now, this movie was written by Osamu Tezuka. Gee, many Christmas. Osamu Tezuka, Astro Boy, Kimba. We might know Kimba, and it's just and it's beautifully animated. And they do have, I think, 4 songs in here that we're not even going to talk too much about, but the whole score was redubbed. Where was that? Didn't that say Les Baxter did it? Let's go back some bit here. Flash. Could have sworn I left that there. I mean, really? That's just annoying, isn't it? Oh no, it's at the end. Oops. I hope that didn't show up. But if it did, sue me. All right, let's go back forward here. So Les Baxter redubbed the whole score, which, of course, back in the day, I mean, that means they redubbed everything for the most part, because the soundtrack was separate. The voices were separate. They had 2 tracks, the voices, and then all the rest, soundtrack. So they redubbed everything, which probably cost them a fair amount of money. According to Arkoff, they needed to get $600,000 in rentals to be profitable, and they did not. Which is sad, because it's a fun. I mean, I'm sure it made money in syndication, but anyway. So there's one guy who gets scared. Finally, off he goes, down he goes, and he comes back with his proof that he's been there. He's crowned king, and he immediately turns into a jerk, self-centered, and he's a little monkey. So of course, when he's powerless and now he's powerful, went right to his head. He doesn't like the picture of Merlin and asks Didi who it is. Then he has a dream about him, and he gets mad, and he's gonna go visit Merlin and get his magic. And this leads to one of the funniest lines in a movie I've ever heard.
Magic powers.
Magic powers? But whose?
Merlin's. Who else could I mean? Because I'm going to be better than any of them.
But learning those things is so dangerous. Please take me with you.
It's no place for women. Besides, magicians don't like girls. They saw them in half.
All right. That is music from the trailer that you're hearing. I'll hear a little bit of that here and there, I think, now that I've got that funny line out of the way. So off he goes, and he finds a phoenix. So he knows he's on the right path to Merlin. And his Merlin servant says, go away. He doesn't take students. Yoink. But Ellie steals his book, the magic book. Merlin agrees to teach him, but says, you will probably regret this. And he's just arrogant. Alakazam is just arrogant enough to say, no, I won't. And first he's, not too bad. He makes himself a nicer bed. Didi's all happy, but then she says, here, I brought you chestnuts. And he's like, screw that. They're not really chestnuts. They're just some kind of fruit, but they look like chestnuts in the dub. Off he goes to challenge King Amat, the king, the most powerful wizard of all in Majutsu Land. We've got some Pegasi, some forbidden fruit, and they have policemen up there. And in order to battle all the policemen, Alakazam does the old Doctor Strange trick, who did it in 1963, so it's a little earlier than his, casting lots of illusions out there, which overwhelm the police, who look, that is such a, those guys in their garb is very Tezuka. He beats this guy up to get his staff of power, and there's Hercules, who he'll call Jercules. Very clean-shaven Hercules. You'd think he was from Marvel, but I don't know who that was actually supposed to be. It might. But they change form. There's that's Alakazam as the lion and Hercules as the dragon. Alakazam turns himself into what some kind of theropod, which looks like it's only got 3 fingers, so we'll say it's an Allosaurus. Till finally, King Amat has had enough. King Amat is Buddha, of course, in the original dub, and you can tell. He says, "Okay, prove how powerful you are," and that lasts like all of 5 seconds. So he's like, "All right, until you learn humility, you're stuck. Till that falls off." He's cold. He can't do his magic. Dee Dee brings him food, and the first time he rejects her, see, because he's still a jerk, but he eats the food. Alleged chestnuts again. Dee Dee keeps bringing him stuff. Finally, he realizes that he misses her, but still hasn't quite learned his lesson because plunk falls into the snow. Queen Amat shows up and says, "Well, my son's coming along, who is Prince Amas." Amas? No, Prince Amat. She's Queen Amas. That makes more sense. There he is, and that is, the Queen Amas is Guan Yin, another goddess, goddess of fortune. And let's see who Prince Amat is. Tong San Zong, who I want to say is the Buddha that was supposed to have brought Kung Fu. Yes, I'm recording.
Okay, when you come out here, because we need to get the
what?
internet set up for now.
You know how to do this.
Not kind of.
That was my sainted mother. Do you need to do it now?
No.
Wanting the internet. Anyway, I told her I was going to leave it in. So there she is. Where was I? Oh, yeah, he's a Buddha, or he's a mortal Buddha. He's not really their son, but be that as it may. So they he frees Alakazam so he can go on his journey with him to the west. But Alakazam's still rebellious, so here comes the golden circle that goes around his head. Now it causes him pain when he disobeys. I think we only see this once in the movie. The movie runs 80. Well, the copy I had runs 84 minutes. According to Wiki, it only runs 80 in Japan in the U.S. version, and 88 minutes in the Japanese version. So now I don't see where I saw that originally, but it's 84 minutes for U.S. They did change some things and move things around, but overall it works. You don't lose anything. So their first stop is at these people having a problem with a demon, and Alakazam's going to help him out after he gets chastised for laughing at them. So he takes her place because it is the demon, Sir Quigley. Where'd he go? Sir Quigley Brokenbottom, voiced by Jonathan Winters, is Zubaji. Chohakai, who is a demon, one of the 3 helpers, a swine, and he was, I think, lusty, and 2 of the 7 deadly sins, gluttony and lust. But he's powerful magic, but he doesn't realize he's talking to Alakazam, who took the princess's shape until right there, and then they have a little fight. He takes him off to Herman and Vermin McSnarls, who are brothers, and that is Philo Fester, voiced by Billy Lou Watt, who is Shoru, as a yokai. I thought it might be, no, he's not there's no corresponding character in the Journey to the West. So now there's our Herman and Vermin McSnarls. They have a fight, and Alakazam beats him up with his staff until they pop him into a magic jar, and they won't let him out. But there are anachronisms here and there, and he has a power drill to get out, turns into a fly, off he goes, knocks out Broken Bottom, takes his form, gets captured again, has to fight a giant scorpion, and then puts the McSnarl brothers into the pot and leaves them there, I guess, because they're bad guys, so they deserve to be imprisoned. They are the Golden and Silver Horned Kings, and they recruit Broken Bottom to their troop. Philo captures the prince. Off they go. Just some sight gags here. and he's going to shoot him with. There's another anachronism: a water gun, not just a gun, but a water gun. He pulls out a switchblade. Yeah, yeah. See, me and my gang, the Sharks, are going after you. So they have a fight, and Philo's not stupid. He runs away. So everyone's asleep. More travels, and now we meet our fourth. Uh, yes, the fourth. The thing here. No, that's just kind of. Well, it doesn't just. It's the George Harrison of the group. We'll go with that. The Fabulous Four. That is Max Lulipopo. I keep wanting to call him Ned Limpopo, and I'm really just sure that the Popo that's so close, Max Luli Popo and Ned Limpopo, uh, that the Pinky and the Brain people had seen this movie and they had to have. And he wants to eat him, but they show him the error of his ways and recruit him, show him mercy. Another inaccurately, that's the phone to the demon lord, King Gruesome, who is the bull demon king. And he wears red pants. He's kind of a red bull. So I wonder what happened to him after he fell. Well, no spoilers. He's also married to Princess Ironfan, Queen Gruesome, who we'll see. Fester gets them arguing amongst each other, but that doesn't last long. And then the bull king, King Gruesome, makes his volcano erupt. The rabbit tells him you have to get the fan from Princess Ironfan, Queen Gruesome. There it is. He's annoyed. He wants to get his revenge on King Amat by killing his son, King Amo. Jeez. And killing his son, Prince Amat. Wish they'd have just left their names. This is one of the first times the cartoon used Occidental voice or names for the most part, and funny ones. Although Amo, Amas, and Amat is Latin. And again, I think it made sense. Though by this was 61 when it came out, so Japanese movies were making their way over here, live action ones, which they did not give them Western names until, I want to say, Sandy Frank ruined everything by starting that nonsense. But be that as it may, Princess Ironfan does not like her fan being stolen and has lots of weapons, although this knife seems to have been embedded into nothing. And once again, Philo shows up, steals the fan back, freezes Alakazam and throws him into the lava. Lava. The floor is lava, Alakazam. Dee Dee's still sick. Probably she, got sick from exposure. Max rescues him, but he's been injured. Off they go. And now they're having a celebration because they're going to kill Prince Amat and Broken Bottom. And there's just the weirdest collection of demons and what have you in here. There was even a frog that jumped through at one point, but it went by so fast, much like yesterday's episode of Valley of the Dinosaurs, where the flying frogs just jumped through. But here's Lily Popo's power. He can tunnel. But so Fester goes to King Gruesome and asks for his reward, and he's like, I don't remember telling you I'm giving you a reward. So he double crosses him, or he just treats him like a nobody, and then he's like, fine. So here they are. They're going to drop them into the lava. And he says, just kill me. I deserve it for what I've done. And finally, Alakazam learns humility and says, no, he regrets what he said. He's sorry. Let's forgive him and let him go. So he has second thoughts, and he presents Alakazam with a potion that will heal him. I don't know why they'd trust him right away, but I guess demons aren't supposed to cry. What did I say he was? Shoru. They are believed to live in an Oni. An Oni is a kind of yokai, demon, orc, ogre, or troll in Japanese folklore. I guess he looks more like an imp, or doesn't look like an orc. Anyway, Alakazam runs out, gets healed, throws his staff, and the executioner falls right into the. I guess that doesn't the lava. That's just like a bowl, a stew bowl. Everybody goes after him, and now the fight is on. It's the final battle, and it's Alakazam versus King Gruesome. He's got red underwear on or something. And then the Quigley and Max defend Prince Amat and throw people into this fireplace. Quigley fights a balloon monster. What do you do with a balloon monster? You pop it. Quigley grabs the iron fan, or seem to find out. Well, it's always strange to see animals just standing in midair. I think it's a good visual because it looks odd, and he's just so they're fighting, and Alakazam turns into a matador, which I am totally against bullfighting, but this guy deserves it because he's not a real bull, so he's bad. He's bad. No, shouldn't have been bad. King Groomson, okay, and he uses his cape to fall. He falls right into the lava. This time he does fall into the lava. And Quigley shows up and freezes the whole mountaintop over, which is, if you know geology, that's probably not the best thing to do with an active volcano, but it's a magic fan. It's a magic movie. It works. Oh, and I have not even listened to any more. We haven't even listened to any more of the.
Bit of the devil, a little ugliness. Some tremendous strength. A feeling for beauty and romance.
See, that's Sterling Holloway there. Doing, you can tell he's Winnie the Pooh, right?
I am. Lulu Popo is hilarious with the voice of Arnold Stein. I will eat you for my lunch. What's a happy, gay, mad, magical world?
So I thought they'd invite Philo Fester along with him, but they say goodbye to him. So he realizes he's forgiven. He's happy. He skips away. I think he'd have made a good spy. Then they have to go finish their journey, which is apparently back to Majutsu land of some kind. But they go to that's not India. Well, maybe those are Indian elephants. And there's peacocks, and there it is. And they meet Buddha and Guan Yin again, and they free Alakazam of his head crest there.
It's terrific too.
So this movie was banned in some countries, the U.S. version. Let me see here. So critical reception. The critical reception was good until when was that stupid book? 1978, when the 50 worst films of all time included it and got most of all the movies wrong. It's like they did very little research and just looked at pictures and said, "Oh, this must be how it is." They thought that they missed the comedy part, and I'm sure that Peter Fernandez wrote the script for it because it sounds like him. Because there's a lot of they'd ask the rabbit, and Broken Bottom says, "Well, hurry! What's the gist, Doc?" So I mean, that's a Bugs Bunny call out, but it's just a terrible book. Anyway, it got really good, but it bombed here in the States, which is I find that hard to believe. This version came from MGM Plus, and it's gorgeous, and if properly, it just looks wonderful. It was released on VHS by HBO, and then reissued in the 90s, Orion Home Video. They had a letterbox VHS, which I tried to get and didn't, and then a widescreen laser disc, which who had a laser disc? I knew like two people that had it, and it has it's been for streaming on Netflix and Amazon, and then apparently MGM Plus. So there you go. Obviously, the legend, the book has inspired many movies and many television shows about Saiyūki or Son Goku. But this is probably my favorite one, just because I've seen it the most. But everyone's happy. He returns to Dee Dee, who's they're like, stop watching these two. They're all happy, and there we go. So they're getting married, and he's going to be the queen. And that is about it here. All right, my fellow agents. That is it's just a wonderful movie. If you know where to find it, I mean, you can watch the one that was on, I don't know if it's available right now where it is, but it did show, it showed up on Comet TV even for a couple of months there, or a year or so in the about, oh, geez, 8 years ago, 7 years ago now. But we get the credits here: a Toei production, American version. So it gives credit to the everyone there, which is good. Osamu Tezuka, music by Les Baxter. See, I knew it was there somewhere. And Tetra sound recording. So all the people I mentioned, they did a good job dubbing it. Cartoons are generally easier to dub because the lip movement. It's a lot. You don't have as much movement like you do in live action mouths. American International Picture, and there we have it. So enjoy the trailer afterward, and I have to go help old people get hooked into the Wi-Fi because my sainted mother doesn't remember how. So until our next assignment tomorrow, which will be a review of the Morrison Museum from last week, this is X7 signing off.
Alakazam the Great is that little monkey of a boy or girl hidden within each of us. Hidden also, we hope, within each of us. Bit of the devil, a little ugliness. Some tremendous strength. A feeling for beauty and romance. All your secrets are brought alive by the wonderful voices of Frankie Avalon, Dodie Stevens, Jonathan Winters, Arnold Stang, and me, Sterling Holloway. Alakazam the Great wants you to join him in your private world of fantasy, where the danger and challenges are great, but you are more than equal to them. Because you sing like Frankie Avalon or Dodie Stevens.
Alakai, Alaco, Alakazam, sing this magic song. Little bird in the cherry tree, return my true love to me.
Jonathan Winters is wonderful as your worst enemy.
I'll take care of him.
Lulu Popo is hilarious with the voice of Arnold Stang.
I will eat you for my lunch.
It's a happy, gay, mad, magical world. One's terrific, too.